It's like gold dust. You hear me coming through your speakers. You see me mashing up your airwaves. I know you can't get enough of my sound.
Hey everybody, this is Voltas, and I'm here today with Axslav, and we're going to do a quick little interview. This is one of my first interviews, so I'm not really sure what I'm doing, but hey, he's going to help me out. So, Axslav, tell me how you're doing in the tournament.
So it's not my best tournament so far. I faced some tough opponents so far. I beat Root Slush in winners round 3 it was, and in winners round 4 I was up against EG Suppy. We ran into each other a lot of tournaments. This time he got the better of me. So some of the past ones I made to winners round 5 or before I went down. So I'm still in the tournament. I'm in the losers bracket and hoping to make the long trek up to that champ bracket.
Yeah, the losers bracket. I've seen a few people going through there. Couple highlights. I think I was watching Idra and a few other people. What's your take on as far as I know this is a big topic of mine, but what's your take on how the foreign players are doing against the Koreans? Is there a movement from the foreign players, or just give me your take on that?
I think there's actually a lot of foreign players who can definitely compete with the top Koreans. I think Scarlett's one of them. One thing I'm kind of disappointed is that she's not playing in MLG. She's focusing on WCS, and she's just absolutely flooring everyone in WCS. And she's even flooring people like Huck, like Idra, and they've shown they can take games off top Korean players. And the fact that she's demolishing them shows that she could probably demolish some of those top Korean guys too. Also, they're like Vibe. I don't think Vibe's playing in MLG either, but I think he's a player who could definitely stack up well. He's been playing on the Korea ladder a lot. He's really used to their styles. He can stack up well against them. And even players like myself, TT1, and there's a whole bunch from Europe as well. Stefano's one of the big names here at MLG. I think the Korean players overall are better, but it's not by a landslide. There's definitely a lot of room for non-Korean players to take games off them.
Right. Yeah, I watched live the Vibe Idra game. He was pretty impressive, especially after that first losing that first round. Well, speaking of that, what's your take on losing that first round of a round of 3? How's your ratio or your ability to come back from something like that?
I don't think it affects me too much. I kind of take each game individually. I just do my own thing. I never really let myself get discouraged or demoralized, or like my mind is kind of always the same regardless if I'm winning or losing. I'm kind of just keep it boxed in there. But there's some players who get really frustrated. I remember in last MLG. I went through both Idra and Ostoji, both players that I've sometimes struggled against in the past. And especially versus Ostoji, I remember after winning the first game, he kind of got a little frustrated. And then, even though he came back one game 2, game 3, you could tell his whole mindset was just kind of discouraged. The thing that's hard to tell, though, if it's more discouraging to lose the first game or to win the first game than if you lose the second, you're on that kind of downward slope. And into the third game,
Takes the wind out of your sails.
Yeah, it does. It's almost like if you just come in and lose the first game, you went from like your normal mindset to like a little bit lower one, and then you got to get back up there. But if you win the first game, then you're in this high mindset, and then you lose the second, then it's a much bigger fall, and maybe sometimes tougher for people to deal with.
Right. So it's like the eye of the tiger thing. You lose the first game, and you're just coming back, right?
Yeah, exactly.
All right, let's switch gears a little bit. Something that I wanted to talk to you about. I know. I hadn't seen you in front of the camera as big as I did at the MLG Arena, and I noticed you had a very complicated board to work with, and my impression was at first you could tell you were scared of the board, you were scared of being up there, but you really loosened up, and impressive analytics. So, give me a rundown. How did you like that experience, and do you plan on doing more of that?
Yeah, no, I actually really enjoyed that. I enjoyed that almost as much as I do playing. It's anything StarCraft related we get to talk about it and think about it is really, really fun for me. And I mean, like you said, the board, it was like a new technology. I didn't really worked with it on the spot before, so it took a little bit of getting used to. And it's something that there's a lot of things, even at the end of the day, that like I have in my mind, all these things, the way to present myself, the way to use the board, the way there's so many ideas I have how to do the job I did better. And the fact that a lot of people really supported me and said I did a good job, and I can think of all these ways I could even improve upon it with more practice and get better at it. I think this is really a branch of StarCraft tournaments that has a lot of room for growth and a lot of room to really, dig in there and get some real high quality content, post game analysis content going there. And it's something that I hope I'll get the opportunity to do in the future.
No, it's definitely good stuff, and I was impressed. And I like the new technology, and I do presentations for my work, so I totally feel you on trying to figure out everything and trying to sound good. I think I have one last thing for you. Oh, you were talking to me about some of the stuff you do outside of well, you've got your commentating that you started on. You've got your professional stuff, and then you're doing some training.
Well, I train people in Starcraft 2 a lot. That's pretty much my entire Starcraft 2 income is from coaching. I mean, streaming, it's like I'll stream 60 hours with 1,300 viewers and I get like $90 per month or something. It's just for fun, to get my name out there, to interact with the fans and stuff. And same thing with tournaments. I mean, I win a tournament here and there, but it's not, unless you're getting first, second place in big events, you're not going to make money off tournaments. Unless you live in Europe. There's a lot of European dailies, so the European players can make a lot more money than that. But and then, so basically it's all coaching. And so I probably coach somewhere 15 hours a week, maybe, something like that. I used to coach a little bit less, but my savings started to go down. I need to be able to pay for everything. So, and it's something I do like coaching. I have a big background in tutoring. In my last couple years of high school and all through college, that was how, most of my part-time jobs, most of how I paid for all that was doing as a math tutor for a long time. All different levels of math up to college and all the way down to your basic algebra stuff and arithmetic. And so I like helping students out, but it's also something that I was actually thinking of becoming a teacher for a while when I was in college. But there's a lot of frustrating moments where you really feel your failure much bigger than you do in other aspects, because no matter what you do in life, no one's perfect. You'll be making mistakes. And like when I play Starcraft, I make a mistake, I lose a big game, and it sucks, right? I feel bad. But when you're doing tutoring and you make a big mistake and you kind of mess up and you're not able to get it through to the student, and then you're not just making a mistake in your job, you're also making a mistake that affects the students. So it takes a lot of really, it's a real rocky road mentally to do it. And I can do it, but I prefer to do things where it's just focusing on myself. And then also, one thing I really want to get is getting to a wider audience. So StarCraft 2 coaching is really fun. I have a fun time doing it, but I only can coach one person. Whereas, if I can get more jobs like on the analytics board, people can either take what they get from it or not, but there's a wide range of people who I can, kind of share my knowledge with.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, it sounds like you do have a teacher's heart. If you're willing to get dedicated to actually helping them out, and, I can tell you care, and that's the idea behind a good teacher. And I don't know, maybe someday you can work with me a little bit and get me out of silver. But anyway, hey, I really appreciate your time, and I hope everybody enjoyed it. This is my first interview. Axslav here has been really nice to me. Hung out with him at a few MLGs, and hopefully I get to hang out with him a little bit more. You got any last words?
Yeah, I have to thank my team for sending me this event. Thank all great sponsors, the Steel Series, Emotion, GG Well Played, Twisted Oak Studios, and DeviantArts, and all my fans for supporting me. I hope you'll support me, whatever I do next. Tournaments, more analytics, we'll see.
All right. Thanks, man.
Sure.